It's great to be here today at HCM Excellence 2019. I am very excited to be chatting with Anu Khosla she's the VP of HR at HCL Technologies. She's traveling all the way from India. Welcome. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Rachel. It's a pleasure to be a part of this conference and listen to some of the excellent speakers that you're able to get together in the span of 3 days. Very enriching sessions.
We are honored. And talking about speakers, you are one of them.
Yes.
And we'll share some of the takeaways that that you have shared at your session. But before we talk about diversity inclusion initiatives and your award-winning programs, tell us a little bit about your background and some of your responsibilities at HCL Technologies.
Sure. I've been with HCL Technologies for 14 years. My career spans more than 25 years, and I have been primarily into talent development through and through. That is my core area. And 2.5 years back, I was given this opportunity at HCL and trust HCL to do that, where they're open to give you, opportunities which might not be your mainstream of work. But they're happy if you want to explore that area. And I was given an opportunity to lead diversity and inclusion. And I've been on the other side of the table for all these years. I've been a women leader, gathering my experiences over the years, some very good experiences, some not so good experiences, sure. And now I'm on the side of the table where I'll be leading diversity and inclusion. So initially I was a little jittery. I hope I'm able to do justice to this. When I started talking to women leaders across the organization, and we're an organization which operates out of 41 countries. Right. So I heard a lot of varied experiences from them, and I felt that there are two aspects to this. One is there needs to be a commitment which needs to come from top to drive this agenda. Just the diversity and inclusion lead individually will not be able to make a big difference. Second thing is I found that there is a lot from my core area of talent development which I can bring to the forefront and help the women leaders move up their careers. And from the executive buy-in perspective, and that's the best part that happened in this journey. The executive buy-in was not just from the CHRO or the CEO, it was right from the board level. They were very closely wanting to monitor the progress on the diversity and inclusion agenda.
That's great.
So that's how I got into this area of diversity and inclusion.
Has it always been under HR, or is that something new?
Diversity and inclusion has been under HR. A separate, position was created around 4 years back in our organization.
And what, being that you're a global company, what are some of the things that you see that are maybe localized in different regions when it comes to diversity and inclusion? Is there anything that stands out that that you find that's unique? Or challenging?
Yes, of course. From an organization which has 140,000 employees across 41 countries, 140 nationalities. Right. There are unique challenges, of course, that are there across the globe. The key aspect that I feel, and one of the key challenges, is on inclusion. And inclusion, when tied up with a key theme, which is at our organization, is innovation and ideapreneurship. syncs up very well. Inclusion is something which will accelerate innovation, which will accelerate what we call uniquely at HCL ideapreneurship. And that's what the employees are looking for, to be felt, they're included in decision making, shaping the future, being part of deciding what lies ahead.
And how do you go about making your people feel inclusive?
Right. So the basic starts with awareness. In specific geographies, maybe people are very aware of what inclusion is. In certain other geographies, probably people aren't even aware of what inclusion is. So we begin with the awareness part, where we do a lot of orientation sessions on inclusion, what encompasses inclusion. And these could be short webinars which are done, 60 minutes webinars, where we invite employees from across the globe to these webinars, or it could be face-to-face sessions that we're doing. And again, we're doing it right top to bottom. And it's not just the diversity and inclusion team which is facilitating these sessions. It's like leaders as teachers. So the leaders are further taking these messages to the employees at large and walking the talk and saying, hey, I'm exhibiting inclusive behaviors in my day-to-day work. Are you doing so?
And can you give an example of what kind of points do they share during these webinars?
Right. So the inclusion, spans across. So when I say inclusion, it's inclusion and unconscious bias, and it spans across right from hiring, selecting, talent attraction, the entire gamut over there, and in terms of my daily interaction. So there'll be role plays that they would put forward to the employees to say that, hey, in this particular example, you did not exhibit inclusive behaviors, and we use a specific framework which is from Neuro Leadership Institute, which talks about it's a SEED framework, and we are orienting our employees towards that framework.
Okay. And this is some of the discussion from your award-winning entry.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What are some of the takeaways that you had shared in the session?
Yes. With respect to the inclusion and diversity strategy at HCL, the 2-3 key takeaways are, one is buy-in from the top management, and it has to be driven right from the top. So everybody is a key stakeholder in driving the inclusion and diversity strategy, be it the board, be it the CEO, be it the CHRO, be it the L1 leaders. Another interesting facet that I shared is it's not just about sharing dashboards on a monthly basis. There are some mandates which our CEO has given that, each leader needs to have a women direct reportee at a particular leadership level. Our focus is having women at leadership levels. So there is a name and shame kind of a dashboard saying that, hey, so-and-so L1 leader has been able to meet his target in this quarter. The other L1 leader has not been able to meet the target. So there are dashboards which are published, and it's not just about telling them what to do, but also, as I said, walk the talk, showing how it can be done.
Sure.
So for example, there are umpteen open positions across the organization. It's not just about, telling the women leaders and publishing a dashboard, hey, these are the open positions in the organization, but, connecting the dots for the women leaders. So can the leader of that line of business talk to the women leaders who are interested in that particular role and tell them more about his line of business, tell them more about the role and what does it entail. Also, align mentors to the women leaders for that specific role. So it's not just telling them that, hey, 10 positions are open across the globe, getting to the specifics that what does this position entail, what competencies, what are the gaps. I can align a mentor for you for this particular conversation. So basically connecting the dots and taking them through where they want to be in their aspired roles.
It's a very seamless approach to something very complex.
Absolutely, absolutely, and there's a lot of groundwork that needs to be done for
Sure.
this. We begin in small pilots. We don't do it organization wide. We pick up 1 or 2 roles which have a large number of open positions and try it out across geographies and see how well it works. Because in today's virtual world, the mentor might be sitting in some other part of the globe.
Sure.
So I might not be even getting an opportunity for a face-to-face mentoring. It could be a virtual mentoring that I'm getting. But do it in pilots, do it small, do it well, and then once the framework is, you've seen a seamless execution, a flawless execution of that particular framework, then roll it out across the organization.
And does that help you get more buy-in especially when you have a successful experience?
True, and
Yeah.
the buy-in is to that extent where employees come and say, "Hey, why is this only for women? It should be for men too."
Right? Is that going to be next?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And that, in fact, did not come in only from our employees. It came up even from the Diversity Board Committee,
Okay.
saying the framework seems to be great and we should be rolling it out for men too.
It's
roll
funny.
it out across.
It's funny, kind of the circle of it, because we're starting these programs that are supposed to be unique for women, and we're finding that at first men don't want anything to do with it
True.
because they're like, I think it's not that they're not supportive. I think they're unsure.
Right.
And now they're seeing, wow, everyone's talking about it. It's exciting.
Right.
I want it too. And also, I think it's really great to get more male sponsorship and allies, and yet, until we get to the point where there is equality and a better balance,
Agree.
It'll be a little bit of a mix.
Absolutely, I agree. Right. So you could run Male Allies program as a separate program, but the real win is when, for your women-specific programs, if men come and say, "Hey, why are we not part of
Right.
this?"
That's great. I have one more question for you. So tell me, why are you so passionate about diversity inclusion? Why is it so important to you?
Well, everybody I see, when I talk to women across the globe in our organization, everybody is not as lucky to have got the right mentor, right sponsor, right, coaching. And if I can connect the dots with creating frameworks and impact lives of so many women leaders across the organization, it makes me feel very satisfied.
Oh, that's a great answer. Thank you, Anu.
Thank you. Thank you, Rachel.